Give it up for Michael Phelps. Anyway, it's comfortable for you? How are you?
Good. 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 How are you?
Very good, Michael. Listen, 28 Olympic medals. I've got to start there. 23 goals. The stat that jumped out to me when I was doing my research was that if you were a country, and I know you've probably heard this before, I know that's a weird concept to wrap your head around, but if you were a country, you would be ranked 35th on the all-time list of Olympic medals. I mean, how surreal is that? I saw in another interview you said you haven't processed it all yet?
No, and honestly, I don't know when I will. You know, it's my whole career has been so like go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I've never really had the chance to sit back and take it all in. So for me, you know, I've kind of worked my way until up to 2008, and my wife and I had the chance to go to China, and we took our son over, and I was going through the moments where I was in certain lanes and replaying all the races in my head and kind of explaining what was going on in my head to my wife, and I think that's where I'm at right now, and I would say that from 2008 to 2012, I think those 4 years will probably be the most challenging for me. Just because I wasn't truly engaged in what I was doing, and I didn't really want to swim. So I think those 4 years would be the most challenging, and obviously the last two or three were the best. I had the most fun, I think, in Rio, and I think it showed. I can ask you guys, I don't know. But I enjoyed it, and I think that was the best part about it. You know, for me, finishing exactly how I wanted to. I think there's no better way to do it, and you know, being able to have my family there, my son there, and just kind of hang my suit up how I wanted to. That was my #1 goal, and never have a what if. You know, 20 years down the road, I can look back at my career now and say, I did everything I wanted to, and I did it my way, and I think that's the best way to do it.
We see time and time, even with the greatest athletes, you don't necessarily get to author your own perfect ending, and
right.
You did.
Yeah.
And how much pressure was on you at Rio, the fact that you knew it was your last one, and you'd come back after London? I mean, did you feel that extra sense of pressure?
I mean, I think for me at the time, it was more, you know, I kind of knew what to do when I got to the Olympics, right? Like, I know what to do when I'm behind the block or getting ready for a race or this or that, because I've done it so long. I've done it for so long. I think for me, it was just about having fun. You know, I think, you know, being a dad and kind of being the old dude on the team was so many.
You felt like a dad, right?
I was a dad at the time, and I did because, you know, for me, for so long, my goal was to change the sport of swimming, and to have some of my teammates come up to me and say, I looked at you on the wall. Like, I had a poster of you on my wall growing up as a kid. You know, for me, I think I'm at the stage in my life where I can understand that and kind of be proud about my goal is starting to be accomplished, and you know, I'm able to hopefully inspire kids in the sport of swimming and other sports to follow their dreams. You know, for me as a kid, that's all it started with. It started with a little goal of wanting to win an Olympic gold medal, breaking a world record, and you know, from there it just kept climbing, and I always wanted more. So you know, over the time and the training that I did, I had the opportunity to do something that nobody else had ever done before, and that was a true dream come true.
We're going to get to some questions on your career, on your retirement. I know some fans here have some questions for you as well.
Hi guys. How old are you guys? How old? So we have like 7, 8, 9? 9 to 11, 16. All right, we got all ages. You guys have some questions? What do we got? Who are we starting with?
We're going to get to them in just a moment. I've got a couple more myself. You've called out Conor McGregor.
I didn't call him out. It wasn't a call out. It's honestly
Has
funny,
he accepted the challenge yet?
I don't know. I mean, I think if he did, I think we would all know. Honestly, I did it as a joke. You know, for me, it was kind of...
Is that your most retweeted tweet ever?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I mean, somebody kept sending me like a photo of us side by side, and I was like, okay, well, let's just make a joke. If he wants to swim, I'll race him. But no, I think it'd be kind of comical. I don't know if he'll accept it or not, but if he does, I think we'd have some fun with it.
That was one crossover fight. You did also take on a great white shark as well earlier this year. You are a big fan, aren't you? You're a big fan of Shark Week. How was that experience?
Like, when it comes to water and it comes to shark, I think it's like, that's probably where I'm the biggest nerd. Like, I just love everything about the ocean. I love the sharks. I like the animals. You know, for me, I had the opportunity to swim with 7 of over 500 different species of sharks, and you know, for me, I think the coolest part was actually seeing the hammerhead within like 6 inches to a foot in front of my face. I mean, a 13-foot hammerhead was literally right there, and that was one of the coolest things I've seen. I'd like to do more. I'm a huge shark fan. I love Shark Week, and hopefully we can get back in the water with some other species.
You have expressed an interest on free diving with great whites as well. Has that been signed off by the family?
I think now that I have a family, I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I would like to dive with great whites out of a cage, but I think I have some other things in my life that are more important, so I might not do that. But it would be fun, and I have a friend who's done it a bunch that, you know, he feels very safe with it. And, you know, obviously those guys do it for a living where they're filming. I mean, I dove with a guy who's dove over 70 times free dive with great whites, and he's still here. He's got all his hands and legs and arms and everything. So, but he just did something with orcas. I think that would be cool to be able to see them in the wild. He did something with it's like 10 to 15 different wild orcas off the coast of New Zealand, and he said they were just like big teddy bears. All they wanted to do was play. So I think it'd be really cool just to be able to experience some of the creatures that we have in open water. Just watching them in their own element is really cool.
Well, listen, we're here at the Under Armour store. You, of course, are a proud Under Armour ambassador, both from Baltimore. What does the brand mean to you? Tell us how you developed this relationship with Under Armour.
I mean, for me as a kid growing up, it's all we wanted to wear. You know, so it was something that was always in my wardrobe, and once I got to spend some time with Kevin and be around the brand, I was able to be a part of the brand. And for me, this is something that's so exciting because this is something, if you look at me on a day-to-day basis, I'm head to toe in it, and it's because I want to. And I think that's something that's so special. You know, what Kevin has done and how big of a visionary he truly is. Watching him expand like this, and I'm glad we are able to be here in Dubai and to open up a store to give you guys the opportunity to see how great this stuff is. It's amazing, and for me, health and wellness is something that's so important in my life on a day-to-day basis, and that's what we're doing. You know, that's what Under Armour is about. You know, being able to get out, being able to get a little workout in, and for me, it's something I need every single day to be able just to be a good father, a good husband, a good friend. So, you know, I hope that I'm with Under Armour for a long time. I love KP, I love the brand, I love what they do, and the stuff is getting cooler and cooler.
I want to ask you about the commercial because you and Under Armour, you share this insatiable thirst for training, and Rule Yourself, which was the advert. If you haven't seen this advert, it's on YouTube. It is a phenomenal commercial. It's called Rule Yourself, and the message is what you do in the dark enables you to shine the light. Talk to us about that.
I mean, it's so true.
Process.
You know, like nobody really saw what I did behind closed doors and the amount of training I did, and you know, recovery, sleep, eat, everything that went into me being able to be me and do what I had to do. So that's just a little taste of the behind the scenes stuff, and it's true in every walk of life, right? You know, like we're all working hard at a goal that we have, and a lot of people don't really see what we do behind closed doors, but once we accomplish that goal, then other people around you get to see what you were working so hard towards. So for me, you know, being able to come back and being able to have one more Olympics and to be able, like we were saying earlier, finish my career on top, that's a little taste of what I had to go through over 20 years.
And training, Michael, because I know famously I think you trained 5 years straight without taking a day off, which is, I can't wrap my head around that is for sure. But what was your approach to training? How did you split time between the other activities outside of the pool and in the pool?
I mean, for me, I had the opportunity to do something that nobody else had ever done, and that's something that excited me every day. So for me, it was easy to sacrifice certain things. So, you know, when Bob had this idea my coach had this idea of training every single day, and he explained to me why we were doing it. You know, in the sport of swimming, if you take one day off, it takes you 2 days to get back to where you were. So I wanted to take a step ahead of everybody else because they weren't training on Sundays. They weren't training on holidays. So for me, every single year, I had 52 extra days ahead of every single person. So I was willing to make that sacrifice to have the opportunity to do something that nobody else had ever done. And I didn't care, I wanted to do it. So for me, it was easy to make that sacrifice and to go into the water on Christmas morning before we open up our presents, or on my birthday when I'd rather not do anything. I did it. And I think there's another thing that I always say. I think the difference between good and great, the people who are great will do things when they don't always want to do things. And I think that's something that for me, I didn't want to go to the pool every day, but I had goals that I wanted to accomplish, and I was hard on myself. So I forced myself during those days because I knew I wanted to accomplish my goal, and that would help me accomplish my goal.
And then for all those athletes taking a day off, you felt you were getting an edge, a step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we had that extra day, and they weren't back to their normal self after taking a Sunday off until Tuesday. On Tuesday, they were able to be back to where they were on Saturday. So I had essentially had 3 days a week where I was ahead of them. So I was taking those steps and building. And for us, we would always say putting money in the bank. Because then when we got to that big meet, we were able to withdraw everything we put in and the hard work that we did to be able to have a good result. And for me, I knew I had to train every single day if I wanted the results at the end. For me, I wanted to win every single race I swam. I mean, that was my goal. I didn't want to lose. So I did things to make sure that I had the chance every time I stood on the block to win.
And there's a lot of stories doing the rounds about how many calories you were consuming, Michael, during your peak time. Can you clear it up? How many calories were you?
I think it started in a European tabloid that I had 12,000 calories, which is basically impossible. I mean, it's possible, but that's a lot of food. I would say during my career, during the biggest time where I was growing and working as hard as I could, I was probably eating 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day, just to build muscle, to make sure I was recovering how I needed to. But for me as a kid, eating basically was a job. And I got to the point where I didn't want to eat anymore. Because I was always, like I said, I was trying to get stronger. I was trying to rebuild muscle that was broken down from training. And I had to eat to do that. So for me, I was just forcing myself to eat. And it was tight. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
And a year out, Michael, obviously a year out from your retirement, how has your approach to staying in shape changed? Are you still very rigorous in the way you approach this?
I have to. I think I found myself in the past where I've taken 6 months off where I didn't do anything. I didn't work out. I just sat around and basically gained 30 or 40 pounds. So for me to be the best husband, to be the best father, to be the hardest worker, I need to get in the gym and do something. We were in there for an hour and a half this morning, and for me, health and wellness is probably the most important thing for me in my life. It's been something I've done for 20 plus years, and it's going to continue to be every day. I try to work out 6 days a week if I can, and even if it's just getting in there and getting a small sweat, it's just something that I need to be able to work and to be myself every day.
Physically, you were almost built to be a swimmer. You have the perfect physique for swimming. In terms of athletic talent versus training, what's your interpretation of the split with that?
For me, it's a combination of obviously being able to make sacrifices, hard work every day. But I think the biggest thing that really made me who I am and who I was in the pool was everything that was in between my ears. For me, it was my mental game that was, I don't know if it was better than anybody else. I think it was pretty strong. And for me, I was preparing myself for the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then what I really wanted. So it was how a race could go, how I don't want a race to go, and in a perfect world, how I want it to go. So I was prepared for absolutely anything. In 2008, my goggles filled up with water right when I dove off the block, and I swam 175 meters basically blind. But I did it because I reverted back to what I did in training. So for me, I was already prepared for that. And this last year, before I got up for the 800 free relay, my cap ripped. So I know that I can't represent another athlete. I can't wear a cap with their name on it. So just out of instinct, I turned it inside out, put it on, and had like 30 seconds before I went and dove in. But I stayed calm, and I think that's the biggest thing, because if I wasn't calm, then that would have taken away from what I was trying to do in the pool.
So what do you miss most about it? What do you miss most
Nothing.
about swimming competitively? Zero. There must be something.
No, I think, for me, having the opportunity to represent my country, I think it was one of the coolest things in the world. This past, last summer, I was voted to carry our flag out in opening ceremonies, and that was something that was one of the coolest things ever. Every time I talk about it, it still sends chills up my body. Having that opportunity to lead our country into the 2016 Olympics would be something that I'll remember forever and something I'll cherish forever. But I think probably the number one thing I'll miss is standing on top of the podium with a gold medal around your neck, listening to your national anthem play. There's nothing better than that, and I've had the opportunity a couple of times to hear that, and it'll stink not having it anymore, but turn it over to somebody else, and hopefully we can continue the tradition of making sure we hear our national anthem. I think that's the cool part about swimming now, is there's so many different countries that are getting so much more powerful. And you see a lot of different countries having the chance to win an Olympic medal, period. And in the past, I think, in the sport of swimming, it was so much Australia, USA, and now the whole world is basically coming up and competing for these medals. And I think that's something that's truly a treat to watch, and just seeing the sport change.
You had I think your goal when you were 15 was to change the sport of swimming. Where did that come from? Because I suppose most athletes, they just want to win the event in front of them. They don't have a lofty goal like that. Did that come from anywhere? My heart.
I think that's the biggest thing. For me, growing up in the swimming world, I've seen, how much swimming, or how big swimming is in Australia, and I wanted that in the U.S. And it's changed a lot. Like I said, in 2016, being able to listen to kids say, I had your photo on my wall as motivation, and to be able to share an Olympics with them, seeing them achieve their goals and their dreams, I think it's just something that's showing me that the sport is changing, and the influence that I've had throughout my career is showing. And I think that's something that is a treat to be able to see and to be able to be a part of it. Swimming has meant so much to me, and it's given me so much, and I'd like everybody else to have the opportunity to have the same experience that I did.
I think retirement it's misleading in sport, isn't it? Because you're
not
retired.
It's not really retirement.
Probably still a workaholic, I would imagine.
For me, I'm always somebody that has to go. I can't sit still. I think it's my ADHD that really just kicks in and just bounces me off the walls. But I think what I'm doing now is probably more challenging than swimming for an Olympics, just because it's something different, right? But what I'm doing now, I think, is so much more exciting. Being able to stand out of the pool, and whether it's helping them in the pool, helping kids in the pool, trying to explain certain things that I've learned throughout my career. Talking about mental health is something that's truly a big part of my life. For me, I can say I've gone through depression a handful of times, and found myself in the darkest place possible, not wanting to be alive, and being able to battle through that and still be able to come back and do exactly what I wanted to do in 2016, I think shows that anybody can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, and I think that's something that we all should believe. By no means has my career been absolutely perfect, but the goals that I've had and the dreams that I've had have allowed me to be able to accomplish anything I've ever put my mind to. And that goes for everybody else in this room as well. Water safety is something that's so important to me as well. We lose too many kids and too many adults to drowning incidents, and that needs to change. So that's something that we're working on every single day, and I think we're in over 200 countries with Special Olympics worldwide trying to help and teach kids to be water safe. Plus continuing to grow my brand. My swim brand is new to the swimming world, and having the history of being able to work with a company for an extended period of time, and now being able to have hands-on experience where I can build a suit, I can build a cap, I can build goggles that I think are the best, anywhere from learn to swim all the way up to the highest level of competition. So for me, it's exciting, and I think going through my first retirement helped me to now be able to go through my second retirement and I guess it taught me a lot. You know, I think before I was so lost on what I really wanted to do, and now I'm able to have goals outside of the sport of swimming, just to be able to try to help as many people as I want. And, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, if you asked me what my legacy would be, I think that's what it would be. I'd want to be able to save more lives than win a gold medal. I think that's way more important, and over time you guys will see the initiatives that we're doing and the things that we're working towards, and you know, I mean, there are way too many suicides each year, and you know, I've gotten to the point where I understand it's okay to not be okay. Like, I mean, like I said, I've been in the worst spots in the world, and I've still been able to get out of them with the help that I have from people around me, and the desire that I have inside of it.
Well, listen, Michael, it's great. It's fantastic. I know a few people are itching to ask you a question as well. We do have time for a couple more questions.
Who we got?
Who's going first?
Go for it. Hi. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Caroline. I'm from the Republic. My question is, if you hadn't been a swimmer, what other sport would you love to train for? Except for golf.
Except what?
Except for golf.
Oh my gosh, that's my answer.
You can do a Steph Curry?
No, I mean, I won't be that good. Maybe. We have one small child at home and another one on the way, so that takes away from trying to grind on the golf course every single day. The question was, what other sport would I play if I wasn't a swimmer? And she said, except golf, because that would have been my answer. I played lacrosse, baseball, soccer as a kid growing up, and I mean, I would say out of those three, I was a decent lacrosse player, but maybe baseball. I don't know. I don't think football. I don't really have hands to catch. Yeah, I would say baseball. That was something that I loved and I watched growing up as a kid. I had the opportunity to see some of the greatest baseball players. You know, seeing Cal Ripken break, you know, the longest consecutive game streak as a kid growing up, and having the opportunity just to watch the O's, and that's something that I would love. I guess probably baseball. If I can't pick golf.
I still feel we may see you on the fairways of a web.com or PGA Tour event.
I won't be on the fairways.
For the longest putt.
I won't be on the fairways. I'll be on the rough. I have a hard time hitting the ball straight.
Who's next with a question for Michael?
My worst injury was my own stupidity in breaking a hand. I actually broke my wrist 6 months before Olympic trials in 2008. I slipped on a patch of ice and went like that, and my wrist popped back, and it looked like I had a golf ball coming out of my wrist. So about 2 days after that, I got surgery on it, and I was in the water the next day. Just because I had probably the biggest meet of my life coming up in 6 months, so I had to get ready for it. But for me, I was very fortunate to have an amazing trainer who helped me get through that process to re-strengthen my wrist, and we took it very easy. But you know, I think for me, I was very fortunate to have a trainer around me who knew so much about me, that he kind of helped me rehabbing it through the injuries that I had. But other than that, I didn't really have anything. I mean, the last 2 years I had a shoulder injury, but that was just me getting old and tired, I think. So we were able to get through that pretty good, and I think everything turned out okay. But yeah, whenever I had something that hurt, I would always tell my trainer, just so we were ahead of it. So it never got to the point where it was so bad where I would miss days or weeks or months of training. I have a sister who went through bulging and herniated disc in both of her neck and her back that put her out of the sport for good, because she didn't say when something was hurting. So I think that's a big key, and something that I learned at a very young age. If you have an injury or something that's bothering you, make sure you communicate that problem so you can get ahead of it and take care of it before it gets worse.
Some good advice there. You can take heed of that. Who's got the next question, please?
Hi, my name is Nina, and I'm a swimmer from the Republic. And my question is for you: which other athlete do you most adore, and why?
Most enjoy in which way? To race? To
no, which do you most adore?
Adore? As a kid growing up, I looked up to Michael Jordan just because of what he did in the sport of basketball and how he changed it, and that was something that I wanted to do in the sport. So that he is somebody who just, everybody says GOAT. He, I think, is the original GOAT, greatest of all time, and he just somebody that I've always looked up to in trying to do what I wanted to do in my respected sport. And but now there's so many great athletes out right now. I think we're very spoiled in this world to see some of the greatest of all time every single day playing. You have the chance to see greats in you have Jordan in golf, obviously. You have Bryce, Andy Murray. We got a pretty good star-studded field of athletes who are the best in the world.
Do we have any more questions? One here.
Hi, my name is Braden, and I'm a swimmer as well. If there's one bit of advice you could give all us kids to help us be the best we can, what would it be?
Never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. I could share tons of stories of times where I wanted to quit swimming from the age of 15 to 25, 26, where I didn't enjoy it. And I think that's something that for me, I finally found that I shouldn't quit and I shouldn't give up because of the goals that I had. That's something that's so important. I cannot stress that enough. For me to be able to be where I am today and to accomplish the things that I've done, I had to have lofty goals. Like there was nothing else that motivated me. For me, I listen to "The Sky's the Limit." It's a Biggie Smalls song, and it's what I believe because I think it's the truth. The sky is the limit, and if you want something bad enough, you're the only person that can stop you from achieving that. So you have to dream and believe that you can achieve whatever you want. And for me, people probably look at me like I was crazy wanting to win 8 gold medals, but I believed it. I believed I could do it. And I put the time and the effort into it. I sacrificed things. I was dedicated. I think that's one thing that is really important. Never ever give up. Because look, my career was not a smooth career. I had big bumps in my career. I had big ups and I had big downs. It's not easy, but if you want something bad enough, you can achieve any possible thing you want. I believe that 100%. It goes for all of you too. You all should have goals. Have goals that you want to achieve. Make them challenging. Make them something meaningful to you. That's what made me get out of bed every day, even when I didn't want to. I had those goals. So my goals from Rio, I had them sitting in my closet. I got back from Rio, and I kind of ignored them for a while because I knew I didn't achieve every one of them. And I looked at them, and I achieved one, my 100 free on the relay. I was 47.1. That's what I wanted to go. I didn't achieve my 200 IM goal. Didn't achieve my 100 fly, my 200 fly. I didn't achieve any of those goals, and I was very frustrated. For me, the biggest goal that I didn't accomplish last year was I wanted to break another world record. I wanted to break 40 world records. That was what I wanted to do, and it's probably still going to frustrate me for a while until I figure out how to let it go. But I'm very hard on myself. When I told my coach, I texted him and I said, well, we didn't really accomplish that much in Rio, in a joking way. And he just said, let it go. And for me, it's, that's where I am. I'm in the process of trying to, like we talked about earlier, go through every Olympics and catch up through my career. So for me, it's a hard time when I don't accomplish my goals, but now I have the chance to change it and do more outside of the pool, and that's something that I'm excited for. So your goals should be meaningful, and if you don't accomplish them, don't give up. Never, ever, ever, please.
That is the motto.
Trust me.
Michael, we have time for 1 or 2 more. We've got some members of the media here who want to pose a question. Easy ones, I hope.
Hi, Michael. It's Rick from Worldwide Golf here. I know you've spoken here. You spend a lot more time on the golf course nowadays compared to the swimming pool. So I guess slightly better scenery than the swimming pool. What are your favourite golf courses around the world, and have you had a chance to check out any here in Dubai, and if so, which ones taking you?
I want to come back to experience more here in Dubai. We flew in late last night, and we fly out today to go to Hong Kong. And you know, I'd like to spend a couple of days here to really experience more of the city. I've heard so many amazing things about this city, and it's a place my wife and I want to come back to. I actually just played Bandon Dunes in Oregon, top 15 course in the world, and I got torn up. That course ate me alive. But I've played the old course, Carnoustie, Kings Barnes. I played a couple in Scotland, a couple worldwide, and you know, for me, my agent actually gave me this board, this golf board of top courses in the world, and I want to put a peg on every single golf course. So I've probably got about 20 golf courses, 20 top 100 golf courses in the world, and I think the cool thing about golf is you can play the same course every day, and every hole can play different. I think that's something that's really special. I mean, for me, the swimming pool is 78 to 80 degrees, it's 10 feet deep, lane lines are 6 feet apart, like nothing ever changed in the pool. So, you know, for me to experience different golf courses, I think I need to improve my game before I can really experience them. Because like I said, I do spend a lot of time in the rough or punching out of trees or trying to not hit trees. So it's a process. And I actually have a friendly wager with a friend to get to a certain handicap by April, and it's not looking too good for my side.
I back you. This is the last question from Mr. Chilton.
Hi mate. You're here in part to inspire the UAE youth. What's the best bit of advice you ever received, and who gave it to you, either when you were younger or whilst you were swimming?
I mean, I think a lot went into really me being able to accomplish what I did, and you know, I think when I first got with my coach in I guess what year was that? 96. I found somebody that believed in me and that truly thought that I could do anything I wanted to. And for me, that was something big because I never really had a father growing up. So he was somebody who acted as a father for me. And, you know, just hearing that and feeling that and trusting that, I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I believed that he could do everything he told me. But I did. And he held up on his side of the deal. You know, everything that I ever wanted to accomplish, I expressed to him. And we did it together. So, you know, that's why I say to these kids, never give up. You know, I've got, like I said, I've gone through the worst things in the world, and I've had some of the greatest experiences of my life. And it all started when I got with my coach back in 96.
Well, it's been an absolute privilege. Michael Phelps, absolute privilege to hear you speak today. Listen, huge round of applause. We are going to entertain you for just a few moments because we had the Under Armour Fitness Championship, and we've got the winners ready to come up and receive their vouchers from your good self. So, if I could call up, what was that? Third place in the Under Armour Fitness Challenge, Matthew Green.
What is the fitness challenge?
We challenged on for the days.
What was it? Just a couple different exercises.
It's like 3 different workouts.
Oh, cool. Cheers.
Andrew Cook.
Well done. I need to go on your guys' workouts. Can you guys give me some? Cheers. No worries.
And winning the Under Armour Challenge in the men's category, Jack Lear. Right, on to the ladies, Under Armour Challenge.
You guys have any secrets? I should take some of y'all's tips.
Oh, we're having a group photo. Okay.